Hello, I'm Daniel, and welcome to German with Linkademy. I've worked as a German tutor for 7 years, and there's one question that I have received pretty much every week, which is how long does it take to learn German? And today I had one student in particular who asked me, is it possible to learn German in under 3 months? Because he kind of needed to move to Germany for work and he wanted to know whether this was possible or not. Now, I asked this student if he knows any other foreign languages, and he said no. So in this case, I personally had to tell him that he will probably learn some German in 3 months, but being able to work in German will be probably impossible after 3 months only. Now, on the other hand, I did have a student who claimed to have learned for only 2 months a few years ago, or probably like 2 years ago. He said he only learned for 2 months and he spoke really, really well. This was like 2 years ago, and I still remember that student because I was so surprised how much he learned in such a short time. Now, this is definitely not the situation for everyone, and unfortunately, there are plenty of books and courses out there that say German fluency in 3 months. I would be highly surprised if anyone buys a book like that and would really be fluent after 3 months. But definitely, what I can say is with the right methods, you can definitely achieve a lot in 3 months. Will you be fluent? Probably not. But will you be able to get around in Germany after 3 months? Probably. What someone achieves after 3 months depends a lot from person to person. Like, how good are you with languages? Um, is German your first foreign language, or have you learned other languages before? Is your native language similar to German? Um, how much time do you have to study? How motivated are you? Um, it depends on many things, but to give you a little bit of advice, I would say you should first figure a few things out. First, your motivation. Try to be motivated and find a good reason why you want to learn the language, right? Maybe I make another day another video on reasons to learn German, because there are surely plenty of reasons to learn the language. Um, but definitely figure out the reason why you want to learn the language first, because that will probably speed up your learning later on. If you just think, ah, German is somewhat cool, you probably will give up after a while if you don't have a clear motivation. Now, once you got a motivation, make a study plan. Figure out how you want to learn the language. Do you want to learn by yourself? Do you want to visit a course? In my experience, people who learned really fast usually studied by themselves, with sometimes with the help of a tutor. Um, if you go to a standard German course in uni or so, they're very slow paced usually, and in one semester you learn the absolute basics only. So self-learning will definitely, in most situations, be the fastest way, unless you have a lot of money to spend on an intensive course. Um, I live in Brazil now, and before I moved to Brazil, I wanted to take an intensive Portuguese course, in Germany, and one course that I found was, I think, 3 weeks or so every day for a couple of hours. Um, but I think they were going to charge like 2,000 euros for that, and this is not really doable for most people, I would say. Um, but there are plenty of good materials online. I can link a few in the description if you want to have a look. But figure out how you want to learn and try to do something every day. I think this is the most important thing. If you want to learn in a very short time, do something every day. As much time as you can spend, the more, the better. In To some extent, I think if you're tired, don't keep on learning because you will not benefit out of that. But definitely 3 hours a day or 4 hours a day, if you really need to learn the language, that's doable. Now, if you learn for 4 hours a day, let's say you need to move to Germany and you can do 4 hours a day, maybe five even, but five please with breaks, because learning 5 hours at once without a break, in my opinion, does not work. And mix it up. Don't sit there with flashcards for 5 hours and just repeat vocabulary, or just do Duolingo for 5 hours, because this will not work out. Study some vocabulary maybe in the morning, then take a little break, study some grammar, either with a book or like an online platform or whatever material you like to use. Um, then take another break, and in the afternoon, maybe watch some German content to practice your listening, or take a conversation practice lesson online. I work on a platform called italki. I will also link it below if you're interested. Um, but yeah, definitely try to structure it and don't do the same thing all day long. Um, and then just try to do that every day if possible. So this was an extreme example, 5 hours a day if you have a lot of time and you need to move to Germany. But this really applies to anyone who wants to move to Germany, to anyone who wants to learn German. If you don't have 5 hours a day, let's say do 30 minutes or an hour a day. In that case, maybe do a few minutes of vocabulary study in the beginning of each session, then a few exercises on one day, a conversation lesson on another day, a bit of grammar on another day. But definitely try to do something daily. I believe that that's being consistent is the key to really achieve something, and not just kind of, often people ask me like, oh, how long does it take? And often, sometimes I have students that ask me more about how to learn every single time than actually trying to study. Like they switch back to English, ask me questions on how they can learn better and material on what they can use, rather than actually trying to practice. And this is important. Watch this video. I know this video kind of answers the same question. Um, but really, the most important thing is study. Um, after this video, start learning. Don't keep watching videos on how to learn German, how long it takes to learn German. I want to take a few minutes here to answer this question, and hopefully you can take my advice on that. But just start learning. This is what matters. Start learning and don't keep on trying to use your time on figuring out how to learn the best. Do something every day, and I promise you, after 3 months, you have achieved something. Um, like I said, how much you will have achieved depends from person to person. And not everybody is super talented with languages. Some people are talented with other things, right? But no matter if you're talented with languages or not, if you do something every day, after 3 months, you will definitely have achieved something. So go out there, study German, take a course, use online materials, speak if you already know some German. Once you learn some grammar, using the language actively is definitely the most important thing. Speak, watch content in German, and just use the language as much as possible. And yeah, I link a few materials in the description, so have a look at that. And yeah, hopefully I will see you in another video. And there's already some content. If you're new to German, there's already some content on my channel. If you're new, subscribe to my channel, and I hope I see you in another video. But don't watch too many videos at the same time. See you then. Take care.